I'm 35 years old, I'm single, and I'm heading into my 12th consecutive holiday season flying solo. Let's talk about it. I turned 30 in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and there wasn't really a lot of great dating in the years following that. And then the past couple years, I've just been working on content creation. I went and traveled to Thailand for 6 months, and I definitely thought I would meet somebody while I was traveling, but I just didn't. And I'm not somebody that is willing to have one night stands, and I don't really know.
Wait. So let me get this straight. This woman is 35 years of age. She's struggling in dating, right? She's pouring all of her energy into content creation. Man, let me just say this. You want to have a lifetime partner, right? Quote unquote partner, as these women call them, right? You want to have a boyfriend. You want to have a husband. I mean, by this point, having children is a little bit out of time. You're considered a geriatric pregnancy. Lots of things could go wrong there. So probably best not to have children at this point. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, and on today's episode I have some more ridiculous TikTok clips for you here today from modern women. The first one that we're going to be jumping into today is 13 reasons why I love being child-free, from this particular woman. Now, I don't know who asked her this question. I don't think anyone even did. I don't think anyone even cares, but nonetheless the video exists. So we will cover it. Let's take a listen. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Let's jump in.
13 reasons that I love being child-free. 1, I'm a girl who needs her sleep, and I love getting 8 hours uninterrupted sleep every single night. 2, hear that? Yeah, it's quiet. My house is peaceful and quiet all the time. 3, I never have to share or hide my snacks. 4, if I wanted to move to a different part of the country or an entirely different country, I could do that whenever I wanted. No worrying about school. 5.
Do you guys ever find it weird that, number one, nobody ever asks these women? They just make these videos unprompted. And second of all, they always seem to be doing their makeup whenever they're doing the video. They just always have to make it look like they're busy. They never actually set down the time to record the video, say what they have to say, and just do it in a normal way. They're always like pretending like they're going somewhere in their car, or they're doing their makeup, or they're eating food. But it's just crazy to me how nobody cares about this. If this woman doesn't want to have children, I'm pretty sure pretty much every single man does not give a damn. It makes absolutely no difference to a man's life whether she wants to or not.
5, my work only has to support me. If I want to make a change, I can do that. I don't have people relying on me for my income. 6, if I put something down, I don't have to worry about it still being there when I come back to it. Everything stays where it's supposed to be in my house. 7, if I wanted to go on holiday last minute, I can do that. I don't have to worry about school or childcare. 8, I don't have to go through pregnancy. 9, I don't have to go through childbirth. 10, disposable income. 11, I don't have to take a kid with me everywhere I go. 12, I have control over my own time and resources.
I wonder how old this woman is as well. It's always hard to tell when they're doing makeup and things like this. I've always been bad at guessing their ages. I mean, a lot of them, they put on like makeup, they put on a filter, so I have no idea. What is this woman? Pushing 30, I would say, if I had to guess, right? Pushing 30 years of age. We'll see if her mind changes, because usually I see these videos, man, and it will be some woman ranting about how she doesn't want a kid. And then you check back in a little bit, and, it turns out that a lot of them do actually end up wanting to have children. And a lot of women actually, they go past like 35. And I swear to you, it's the same women who then sit there and go, well, I regret not having children. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life and things like this. I tried to freeze my eggs and it didn't work. A lot of women make videos like this, man, but I really do think that a significant number of them turn around and then they stress out because they're not going to be able to have kids in time.
I don't have to do things that I don't want to do. For example, after school kids clubs. 13, if I'm tired or run down or feeling a little bit low, I don't have to worry about caring for anyone else. I can focus on my own self-care and my own recovery.
Can you guys imagine just sitting down and recording one of these videos completely unprompted? Like this is what women do during their day. I have never once thought to myself, hey, you know what? I'm going to record a video today about my my child status, right? Whether or not I have kids, whether or not I want them, or things like this. Which, by the way, guys, I don't have children. You know, and like, why would I sit down and make a video talking about this to essentially nobody? Now, granted, a lot of these women actually do have followers, but I don't think that first one does. She just sits there and records her whole day, which again is completely confusing to me, because I think this kind of crap really turns away men. Imagine you're looking at dating a woman, okay? You come across her TikTok and it's just unhinged TikTok videos of questions that nobody ever asked her or cared about. Like, you'd be thinking to yourself, what in the hell is this woman doing? Let's jump into this next clip.
At 38, I decided to start dating again after 3 years of being single. I hadn't dated anyone.
Holy hell, this one... Wait, so this is the same woman. I recognize the tattoo she has on her hand here. This woman's 38, guys. You see, this is what I mean about, like, these women. They have so much makeup, they put filters on, they have Botox and things like this. Like, I just have no idea what these people actually look like. So they're 38 years of age, saying she doesn't want to have kids. Ma'am, you don't have a choice. The years are gone. Like, what do you mean? So now she's 38 and she's returning to the dating market at 38 years of age. Oh boy.
To 3 years of being single. I hadn't dated anyone in 18 years and I didn't really know where to start, so I just jumped on the apps.
Whoa. Let's back up a bit here. Let's wind it back. This woman, what did she say? She's had 3 years of being single. She hasn't dated anybody in 18 years. There are so many issues with this. We'll let her talk and then we'll unpack it later on.
Did anyone in 18 years and I didn't really know where to start, so I just jumped on the apps. First I tried Bumble because it seemed the most serious, but for some reason I just wasn't being shown any men my age in my area. And I'm not talking matches, I mean on the whole app I'd be shown 6 or 7 men. So then I tried Hinge and then I tried Tinder and it was exactly the same story on both of them as well. I'd set a nice wide age range preference of 38 to 50 and I lived within 20 minutes of 2 big cities. Also, we know the ratio of men to women on these apps is like 3 to 1. So where were all the single men my age?
Where have all of the men gone? So let me get this straight. Woman, 38 years of age, tries to jump back on the dating applications after probably ruining her relationship. You know, she's back out there. And what a surprise, there are no men left. It's crickets. There's no men. That is so funny, man. That is so hilarious.
It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize. It wasn't that there weren't single men my age in my area. It's just the single men my age in my area didn't want to date anyone their own age. They'd say,
This is what a great start to the day, man. This clip is so funny. So this woman, here's what happened. She probably leaves her long-term relationship because she didn't want to have kids, and he did, I would assume. Just based off of what they say, which oftentimes isn't the truth. But let's just assume what she's saying is true. Let's run with it, right? She doesn't want to have kids. She's 38. She returns to the streets out there dating. She jumps on the dating applications. And not only are there, you know, no men in her age bracket, but a lot of these guys just aren't interested in dating women who are her age. You know? Like, that's really what it boils down to, man. So they've set their age preferences to be lower than she is, and she thinks she's going to have a grand old time returning to dating when she's 38, only to find out that things have changed a little bit. That's interesting.
Set their age range preference to significantly younger, so I just wasn't being shown their profiles. So I did what any red-blooded woman would do, and I changed my age preference range as well. And funnily enough, I then started getting matches galore. Okay, so the 40 to 50-year-olds didn't want to date me. Turns out the 30-year-olds definitely did.
Wait, so let me get this straight, by the way. So this woman, what she does is she jumps her first solution to being single at 38 years of age. What does she do? Also, makeup is such a scam, isn't it, guys? Look at this woman's face. Completely different person, by the way, as she puts on this makeup. Like, you just never know what these people look like. So let me get this straight. She, 38 years of age, what does she do? She jumps on Bumble because, in her own words, she thinks that Bumble is the most serious one. Right? We're all following. She goes on the most serious dating application there is, Bumble. And now what does she do? She says, okay, none of the men want me who are slightly older than me, because obviously she wants to date the dudes who are slightly older. She's shooting for the dudes who are 40 to 50. None of these guys want me, so her solution is to set her age preferences lower as well, so she starts chasing the younger men. Now, let's just ignore all the comments that I could make about her being creepy, like women usually say about men, and say, okay, that's fantastic. You're going to go out here and try and date these younger dudes. Here's the thing that this woman is going to realize. None of these younger men will want to be serious with her. That's really what it will boil down to. You think that these guys who are like, 8 years younger than you, 10 years younger than you, so on, that they're going to be looking to settle down with a woman who is 38 years of age? They're not even pushing near 38 years themselves. Okay, this is not going to work. So your strategy was to go on an application that you deemed was serious, but then you are by definition going to be chasing men who are not going to be serious about you. Guys, modern women, they're just...
Definitely do.
I don't even know what to say about that. Great strategizing. So let's check this one out. This one was actually covered recently. We covered this woman on the last episode, I believe, but we covered part 2. So we did it a little bit backwards. This is part number 1, where she's going to be talking about an interaction that she had with a man that was genuinely so traumatizing. Again, I don't know who the hell is asking these women for these videos. They're just, I don't know who they're talking to, but hey, they exist. So let's keep going.
So I recently had an interaction with a man that was genuinely so traumatizing, and also the funniest thing that has ever happened to me. He was at my apartment. This was our second date. Things start to get a little hot and heavy. It's very light. He gives me attention for 45 seconds. Things are literally just getting started. This was less than 1 minute. He stands up, and I watch this man take his pants off, shirt still on, okay? He is in full Winnie the Pooh. And he looks at me, standing there with no pants on and his shirt on, with the utmost confidence, and he says, "Are you ready for this?" What? So I'm lying there, and I was like, "Ready for what? What did you just say to me?" He looks at me in horror. Wait, what? He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. It was like time stood still, and I didn't know what to do. The ick was so visceral.
So just by the way, for some additional context, guys, this woman, first of all, she hooked up with him. Like, I'm just going to say that straight out of the bat, okay? Straight out the gate. A lot of these women claim that these men are so traumatizing. These dudes are so narcissistic. They're so weird, right? They've got so many different things wrong with them. Now, let's just assume that this is true, and these guys are just super weird and things like this. These women are still hooking up with them. So despite the fact that these men are traumatizing, which again is a gross misuse of the word traumatizing, but even though these men are so awful, apparently, so weird, they still hook up with them, And so that's number 1. She still did end up hooking up with this guy. Number 2, she's a single mother. So she hasn't mentioned this in this particular clip because this is the first part of it, but she's also a single mother who, by her own definitions, later on goes to say that she is simultaneously open to friends with benefits, but also not against something serious, which is, if you've got any sort of brain activity going on, guys, this might baffle you, because anyone who is a male will understand that this will instantly just run away any dude who has any level of self-respect. Let's continue into this next clip. These are just getting worse and worse as we go. Chronically single survival tips. All right, madam, let's hear it. How do you survive being single? Let's hear it.
You are chronically single and wondering, when is it going to be my turn? If you are one Hinge most compatible suggestion from deleting dating apps forever, if you are one engagement post away from Googling 10 steps to become a nun, if you are one baby announcement away from thinking like, wow, dating is so bad, I hope in my next life I am reincarnated into a dog, I have something that might make you feel like this much better.
Is it the ability to reincarnate as a dog? Like, I don't know. I think a lot of these women, man, it's just over. I think it's just completely over. Women who make videos like this and they're like, dating is so difficult. Guys, dating is not hard for women. It isn't. Dating for men is difficult. Dating for women is really, really not that hard. If you're an average woman, you can get a relationship You can get marriage. You can get kids. Okay, you don't have to go out there and make a bunch of money. You don't have to meet some sort of height requirement. You know, a lot of guys, yes, they'll have a slight height preference. Okay, they will have a looks preference, but you don't need to be a supermodel. You don't need to be the exact height that he needs you to be. You don't have to go out there and make 100K a year. Dudes generally are pretty loose with their standards. As long as you're a decent human being, that will get you most of the way there. But modern women, guys, can't even do that, right? Not only can they not do that, by the way, but a lot of them, they consider the average man to be completely below them. Right, so you have an average woman who's struggling in dating, who wants to be reincarnated as a dog, her own words, not mine. You have this woman who's average. She doesn't want to be dating average Joe because she thinks that she's above him. You see, average Joe is weird. He's not attractive enough for her. He's not tall enough. He doesn't make enough money. And it's crazy because these women genuinely believe that they're deserving of men who are a lot higher quality than them, to be honest, at the end of the day. Let's jump in.
And if you are one baby announcement away from thinking like, wow, dating is so bad, I hope in my next life I am reincarnated into a dog, I have something that might make you feel like this much better. This much better, at least. My comfort TV show, the one I've watched like 8 times through, is How I Met Your Mother. I've always loved the message, thought it was a very cute show. But recently, I started rewatching it, and I was like, wait a freaking minute. I'm not going to give any like spoilers away if you haven't seen the show, but pretty much the concept of the show is this main guy, his name is Ted, and he's sitting down with his kids, and he's telling them how he met their mother. The guy proceeds to walk his kids through literally 10 years of different stories that lead to him meeting their mother. And when you look at the stories individually itself, you're like, okay, well, how does this lead to you meeting this person? But
is this woman about to have the epiphany that, oh, it's going to take me a decade to meet my person? Please tell me that's not the conclusion that we're going to be getting from this show, right? Because it's completely inaccurate and it's a TV show. But let's see what her genius comes up with.
the way he tells the story is it literally all connects. Like, this had to happen for this to happen. This had to happen for that to happen. It really is such a good message, because there's so many times in the show where like he's like, I want to settle down. I want to meet my person. Certain situations he's like forcing it with these girls and it's not working for, you know, a different reason. It really goes to show every little thing we do in our life, every little decision we make is leading us to exactly where we are meant to be.
Holy hell. Okay, so let's unpack this, right? Because this is something that a lot of women do, is they go out here dating, okay? They approach 30, and by the time they've, you know, reached age 30, they've been with a whole range of different guys. All of them obviously are narcissists. It's like a mixture of bad boys and narcissists and men who are evil and so on, and now she has PTSD and whatever. And you sprinkle in a few nice guys who she tried to give a chance to, but obviously she wasn't attracted to the men who would actually give her a relationship, you see. And so she goes through all of this and she's like, you know what? All of this dating experience that I've been having, all of these decisions I've made, these mistakes that I've made, they are just leading me one step closer to my Prince Charming. This is 100% the opposite of how this works, by the way. The more dudes you get with, the more mistakes you make, the less self-respecting men want you. If you go out here and you hook up with, you know, 13 different bad boys, right? 13 different dudes throughout your college years or whatever, and you try and settle down with a dude who has self-respect when he's your number 14, it's like, this is not going to work. Not only are you never going to be happy with this guy, okay? You are inevitably going to leave this man to return to the streets because you're addicted. But this guy probably doesn't want to be with you either. Like, seriously, guys, the women who go out here and get with a whole bunch of these men, their pair bonding ability is quite literally fried. Oftentimes, over time, they will completely disrespect you. Their personalities are oftentimes incredibly masculine. And it's just not worth it, man. And their demands are like through the roof as well for the men who will actually give them relationships. It's completely ridiculous. It's a scam for dudes. So no, like in a sense, this woman is right. Yes, all of your decisions are leading you where you're meant to be. But I think this woman is perhaps misunderstanding where she's meant to be, because she's meant to be alone.
Our life, every little decision we make is leading us to exactly where we are meant to be. If I am a believer in anything, it is that everything happens for a reason. You have to go on those bad hinge dates. That guy who you were so sure was the one, but ended up breaking your heart in the end, it had to happen.
Yeah. There it is, right? You had to hook up with all of these bad boys. You had to sleep with a bunch of different dudes because this was just, these were just making mistakes. So now you're more clear on what you want. You can get your standards in order, queen. And this is the funny part about me, about these women, man, is like they go out here, they do this crap, and all the while they're doing this, right, they increase their standards as they do it. So the less, it's like she's becoming less and less desirable to her dream man, but at the same time, she's increasing her standards and she's increasing the things that she requires. You know what I mean? This is like, guys, this is the equivalent of, let's just say you have a car yard, okay, and you're trying to sell a car. The car is depreciating in value. You're taking it out there, you're doing donuts, you're ruining the tires and so on. Okay, you go out there and you just trash that car. You use it for like things that it shouldn't be used for. You go out there, you do that. And then as you're doing this, every day you bring it back to the car yard, right? You got the sale sign on the car. And every day you do this, you're increasing the price. That's the equivalent of what these women are doing, man. And then they wonder why no dudes want them and why dating is so difficult. You're doing it completely backwards. And it's amazing because women, it's like you don't even have to do a lot as a woman. You really don't. Men don't have these stupid lists that women have. I think that men personally should have more standards for themselves. I think that, it'd probably be a good thing for men to at least start writing some sort of a list. A lot of guys really don't have very serious requirements for women at all. And yet these women can't even meet the very little standards that men do enforce upon women, right? Number one, don't be with a whole bunch of dudes. Number two, don't eat a whole bunch of fast food. And that just cuts out so many women instantly, guys. It's like they don't even have to do anything. They just have to abstain from making bad decisions, and they can't even do that,
Every choice I made, you were so sure was the one, but ended up breaking your heart in the end. It had to happen. Every choice I make and every person I meet is guiding me to where I need to be. And I truly, truly believe that. I know single Sundays can make us a little bit down bad, but starting tomorrow, Monday, season 1, episode 1, How I Met Your Father.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, somebody come pick this woman up, okay? Where are their fathers, man? Like, where are the dudes? None of these women ever listen to men. Have you ever noticed that, by the way? I think if they actually listened to dudes, they would probably be in a lot better of a situation. But they just listen to, like, their best friends and their girl, quote-unquote, friends and things like this. I actually, guys, I have the thought that a lot of these women's friends actively try and sabotage each other. I think it's messed up. I think that women actively go out here and try and sabotage the lives of other women because they secretly don't like them. It has to be some of the most despicable crap ever, man. You can have a woman who's in a happy, long-lasting relationship and things like this, and you'll have like some friend in her ear trying to tell her how she deserves better. What's this? The guy didn't do laundry, right? Let's just say like the dude's paying all the bills, right? And then she's got the friend in the ear going, oh my goodness, he didn't do laundry. What a man-child. You deserve better. And so she ends up divorcing him, listening to the friends, going out there, returning to the streets. And it's like, and then a lot of them just end up regretting it and crying about it. It's ridiculous, guys. Next clip here. 35, single, heading into the holidays solo. How does it feel? And we're doing makeup again. Was the last one doing makeup as well? No, she was just using lots of hand gestures. Okay, let's take a listen.
I'm 35 years old, I'm single, and I'm heading into my 12th consecutive holiday season flying solo. Let's talk about it. I turned 30 in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and there wasn't really a lot of great dating in the years following that. And then the past couple years, I've just been working on content creation. I went and traveled to Thailand for 6 months, and I definitely thought I would meet somebody while I was traveling, but I just didn't. And I'm not somebody that is willing to have one night stands, and I don't really know.
Wait. So let me get this straight. This woman is 35 years of age. She's struggling in dating. right? She's pouring all of her energy into content creation. Man, let me just say this: you want to have a lifetime partner, right? Quote unquote partner, as these women call them, right? You want to have a boyfriend. You want to have a husband. I mean, by this point, having children is a little bit out of time. You're considered a geriatric pregnancy. Lots of things could go wrong there, so probably best not to have children at this point. You know, if you want a man, probably don't be focused on creating TikTok videos. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the strategy for you, I would say. But apparently we're traveling to Thailand. We're trying to meet dudes while traveling. Women who are traveling to try and meet dudes, absolutely huge red flag, by the way. But it's like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are modern women doing? They just have no idea what the hell they're doing. Again, dating, not difficult. If you have to travel to find a man as a woman, it's just call it GG, wrap it up. If you're 35, you're still out here looking for a man, wrap it up. This woman says that she's not interested in one night stands. I guarantee you she's had a bunch of them in order to be 35 years of age and single. You know, unless she just got out of like a 15-year-long relationship, but I really kind of doubt that.
Like, and I definitely thought I would meet somebody while I was traveling, but I just didn't. Like, and I'm not somebody that is willing to have one night stands, and I don't really necessarily believe in the concept of dating for marriage. I just believe that it just happens. Like, you just find someone and you click and you realize, like, this is somebody that I could make my life work with, or that's how I think it would happen if it were to happen.
Right. The classic, you just meet your soulmate one day and things happen. Let me just say this. You're a 35-year-old woman. You have already been sent multiple of your soulmates. That's the thing, guys. Like, these women don't seem to understand that there's actually a bit of choice in this. You know, you're not something that's just blowing in the cosmic winds, okay, where fate takes you and you'll come across your Prince Charming randomly. You know, they put no actual effort into themselves or what they have no concept of what men want whatsoever. They think that everything just happens magically. It's like, ma'am, you're 35 years of age. Let's wake up a little bit here, okay? Let's let's snap out of it. So she thinks one day she's just going to walk into her Prince Charming, she can see a life with this man, and then boom, it's going to work out. Imagine if dudes adopted this same mentality, by the way, again, guys. It's like, if men adopted the same mentality as modern women, there would be no relationships at all. Like, yes, there's a dwindling amount, but when I tell you the number would be 0, it would be very damn close to 0 if men adopted the same kind of mentality as women. Dudes understand, man. More and more men are out here understanding, like, oh, you want to get attention from women, you have to do a whole bunch of bullcrap. You know what I mean? Like, but women, it's like, no, I'm just going to flirt around and meet my soulmate one day. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. Let me know how that goes. We'll check back in when you're 40, madam.
Life work with, or that's how I think it would happen if it were to happen. And it just hasn't. You know, I'm totally open to it. I would absolutely love to have a family more than anything, and I really don't need.
You're 35. What are you talking about? Like, stop it. Okay, 35 years of age, talking about how you're open to the idea of family. Man, the gates are like shut. You know what I mean? Like, it's wrap up time. The lights are turning on at the club, you know? What are we doing here, man? This is like handing in homework, right? As the teacher's marking your homework. Like, it's done. 35 years of age, potentially looking to have kids, you know, potentially hoping to run into your soulmate. But don't worry, guys, she's not one of those hookup girls. What in the hell have you been doing for the past 2.5 decades? I think it's a really valid question to be asking. Many of these women get super offended. They're like, oh, you don't know my situation. And they'll make up some nonsense or say things that don't even, you know, it's not even particularly relevant, or they'll just try and say that they have trauma and things like this. You don't know my situation. I could have ended up to be 35 years of age and single because of a myriad of reasons. It's like, okay, but the fact of the matter is you're 35, you're single, and you're looking to have a relationship. You're looking to have children. You're looking to have a family. 35-year-old woman trying to have kids, not the safest endeavor in the world for either you or the kid, by the way. You know, plenty of complications are likely to happen at this age, at least as far as I understand.
Need people in the comments being like, well, you're 35 and blah, 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 and your age and blah, blah, blah. I don't need to hear it. I really don't. If that is my life path, and it may not be. It might be that I don't find my person and that I stay single, and I've been thinking a lot about that, and that's okay too.
Okay, good.
It's not necessarily what I want, but at the same time, I really do love to travel. I love to sleep. I love to have my own routine and not have constraints on my day. So I could see myself being very happy. And how do I feel about it? So honestly, it's definitely a mixed bag, because I, for example, was able to just pick up and leave and go to Thailand for 6 months. And it was one of the best things I've ever done. And it made me realize how much more I want to travel and how many more places I want to be able to see. And
so perpetually traveling women, guys, absolutely a huge red flag, by the way. Like, let me just say this. These like women who just have to be traveling all the time and things like this, like, again, have fun, madam, but really quite a gigantic red flag, I would personally consider it. But this is really funny. So she says, you know, I'm open to the idea, but you know, it is something I want to do, but at the same time I want to go to Thailand. It's like, okay, madam, this is not going to happen for you. Like, let's just call it for what it is. It's not going to happen for you. You're too addicted to traveling and meeting up with random dudes in different countries. That's fine. I would rather women just be honest about this, by the way. You know, yes, I would love to have a family, but at the same time, I really want to go out here and hook up with dudes from random countries. That's all you've got to say. But of course, you just have to read between the lines and look at what these women are actually doing. You know, because what they're actually doing is they're just going out there and they're just screwing around with dudes, and they claim it's some sort of enlightenment journey, or, oh, she just loves traveling. It's complete nonsense, man.
And if I don't have children and I don't have a family, then I can spend my money doing things like traveling. So that part is absolutely incredible. It just offers like a very different kind of life. On the other hand, of course, during the holidays, it can be very lonely, and there's been a lot of moments in the past few years that I felt like there was something wrong with me, or a lot of questions about whether or not I really loved myself, because people say so often that you won't meet your person until you truly love yourself.
Yeah, so there is something wrong with you. Absolutely. I agree with this. And I don't even mean to roast this woman when I say this, guys. Like, she's genuinely asking the question. You know, this is the conclusion that a lot of these women, they half come to. They never fully accept it. But they're like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me. You know, the past 50 men that I've tried to date, none of them have wanted commitment with me. Yeah, there is something wrong with you. There's a couple of things. Number one, you're selecting the wrong men, right? Because there are dudes who would have a relationship with you, but you are actively selecting the wrong ones. What do I mean by the wrong ones, guys? I mean the dudes who are not interested in committing to you. Women will go out here, man, and I kid you not, they will actively select dudes who don't want them for decades at a time. It is crazy to me. And then they blame men as a whole as a result of this. You know, because they can't see themselves with the average man. Okay, here's the thing. If you can't get commitment out of a dude, you cannot afford that man. You know, and I'm not talking in terms of monetary value, right? Just in terms of an analogy, like an example. If you can't get commitment out of a dude, or that tier of man, I guess you would say, by whatever you're ranking him by, usually it's looks and finances, then you can't afford that man, right? Oh, but the only men who want me are ones that make 45K a year, and they're 5'9", they're not 6 foot. Yeah, that's where you're at. Oh, but he doesn't hit the gym, he hasn't got muscles, he hasn't got this, he hasn't got a nice car. Yeah, but he'll commit to you. That's what you can afford, madam. You know what I mean? But none of them, they don't want to quote unquote settle. They feel like getting with a dude who's 5'9" is a huge problem. Okay, dudes who are not making 100K a year, who can't finance her traveling lifestyle, she doesn't want to be with them either. And then they end up 35 and single, and they're like, where's my soulmate? You know, it's complete nonsense, guys. Women are very logical about the men that they select for long-term relationships. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. I can't listen to any more like 35-plus-year-old women crying about being single, despite the fact that they've had it so damn easy. So we're going to be leaving it there. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.